Living on a boat for more than 30 days. Living on a boat sounds like the ultimate dream, right? Wake up to water, no neighbors, no rent, just vibes. Well, Georgia said, nice try. According to the law, if you live on a boat too long, especially over 30 days, Georgia might look at you and say, sir, that is not a vacation anymore, that is a house. The problem isn't the boat. The problem is you trying to escape bills, taxes, sewage rules, and normal human responsibilities. Boats don't have proper plumbing systems like houses, so if everyone decided to live on the water, Georgia's lakes would turn into floating restrooms real fast. So yes, you can sail, you can vacation, you can pretend you're a pirate. But live there too long? Congratulations, you've legally annoyed the state. No donkeys in bathtubs. This law sounds fake. It sounds like a prank law written by a bored politician. But nope, Georgia actually had to tell people, please stop putting donkeys in bathtubs. Back in the old days, bathtubs were expensive, like don't even look at it expensive. And some genius farmers thought, hey, instead of washing my donkey outside, let me bring him into the bathroom. Result? Broken plumbing, flooded houses, one very confused donkey. So Georgia stepped in and said, that's it, no farm animals in the tub. Today, nobody is checking your bathroom for donkeys, but if you ever wondered why this law exists, now you know. People are the reason. Spitting on sidewalks is illegal. Yes, Georgia once declared war on spit. Back when diseases like tuberculosis were spreading, doctors believed saliva was basically tiny poison droplets. So cities said, enough. If we see you spit on the sidewalk, that's a crime. No warning, no forgiveness, just straight to that's disgusting. Fast forward to today, most people don't even think about this law. But technically, in some places, if you spit on the sidewalk, you're not just rude, you're illegal. So next time you feel that dramatic throat clear coming, Georgia recommends tissues, not sidewalks. Sagging pants can get you fined. In some Georgia towns, fashion police are real. If your pants sag too low, the law says, pull them up or pay up. Officials claimed it was about public decency. Critics said it was about controlling people's style. Either way, the message was clear. Your belt is now a legal requirement. People have actually been fined for this. Not speeding, not stealing, just too much underwear exposure. So remember, in Georgia, gravity is optional, but pants discipline is mandatory. Pinball machines were once illegal. Yes, pinball machines, those innocent blinking arcade games, were once treated like criminal masterminds. Georgia believed pinball encouraged gambling, because if you won, you got, wait for it, a free game. That was it. That was the crime. Police raided arcades, smashed machines, and acted like pinball was destroying society. Eventually, common sense showed up. Courts ruled pinball requires skill, not luck. And today, pinball is free to exist, after surviving its dark criminal past. You can't tie a giraffe to a streetlight. Georgia lawmakers woke up one day and said, you know what society needs? A law specifically about giraffes. Yes, tying a giraffe to a telephone pole or streetlight is illegal. Now, does Georgia have a giraffe problem? No. Has anyone ever tried this? Probably once, and that was enough. This law exists for animal safety. Streetlights are not giraffe-approved parking spots. They're tall, unstable, and very bad for giraffe dignity. So if you ever own a giraffe and you feel tempted to run errands, Georgia politely asks you to leave your giraffe at home. Chickens are not allowed to cross the road. Finally, an answer to the age-old question. In some Georgia areas, chickens must stay fenced in. If they wander onto roads or neighbors' property, the owner can be fined. So if you're wondering why the chicken crossed the road, in Georgia the answer is, it shouldn't have. This law exists to prevent traffic accidents, property damage, and angry neighbors chasing poultry. Basically, Georgia said, freedom is great, but not for chickens. Sunday alcohol sales were banned. For a long time in Georgia, Sundays were sacred, so sacred that alcohol had to take the day off. Known as blue laws, these rules meant you could buy alcohol 6 days a week. But on Sunday, nope, pray instead. People would rush to liquor stores Saturday night like it was the apocalypse. Over time, Georgia relaxed the rules. But even today, some counties still restrict Sunday sales. So yes, in Georgia, alcohol once had a curfew, set by religion. Profanity on the phone is illegal. Georgia really said, "Watch your mouth," even over the phone. Using obscene or abusive language during phone calls can actually be charged as a misdemeanor. So if someone calls you about your car's extended warranty, and you unleash your emotions, congratulations, you might be the one breaking the law. This rule exists to prevent harassment, threats, and verbal abuse. But it also means Georgia expects basic manners even when you're angry. Moral of the story, yell into a pillow, not the phone. Ice cream cones in back pockets are illegal. This one sounds insane, and it kind of is. Putting an ice cream cone in your back pocket used to be illegal in Georgia. Why? Horse theft. Thieves would put ice cream in their pockets to lure horses to follow them because apparently horses love dessert. So lawmakers said, "That's enough ice cream crimes. Today no one is arresting you for pocket ice cream, but technically the law still exists. And honestly, if you're putting ice cream in your pocket, the law isn't the biggest problem." Fortune-telling without a license is illegal. Georgia believes in many things, but random people predicting your future? Not without paperwork. If you claim you can see the future and take money for it, Georgia says, "Hold on, wizard." The state treats unlicensed fortune-telling as fraud, because apparently predicting doom is illegal unless you're certified. So if someone says, "I see love, money, and success in your future," for $20, Georgia says, "I see a fine in your future." Lesson learned. If your crystal ball isn't government approved, keep it decorative. No ice cream on Sundays. Old blue law. Once upon a time in Georgia, Sundays were so holy. Even ice cream had to repent. Old blue laws restricted many fun activities on Sundays, including certain food sales. Imagine being a kid, it's hot outside, and the law says, "No joy today, it's Sunday." Thankfully, most of these laws are no longer enforced, but they prove Georgia once believed happiness should take a day off. So if you're enjoying ice cream on a Sunday today, you're living dangerously, historically. Mooning in public is illegal. Georgia has officially declared war on buttocks. If you expose your rear end in public, even as a joke, it counts as public indecency. So no matter how funny you think it is, Georgia does not laugh. 1 second you're joking with friends. Next second, you're explaining yourself to a very serious police officer. The law exists to maintain public decency. But let's be honest, it mostly exists because people couldn't behave. Moral of the story, comedy is legal, mooning is not. Fireworks are restricted by county. In Georgia, fireworks are legal, unless you're in the wrong place at the wrong time on the wrong holiday. Each county makes its own rules, so you might legally celebrate in one neighborhood and break the law 2 streets away. Nothing says freedom like Googling fireworks laws at midnight. The reason? Fire safety, noise complaints, and that one neighbor who always goes too far. So before lighting the fuse, make sure your county approves your chaos. Hunting without permission is a crime. Georgia is very clear about this one. If you hunt on land you do not own or do not have permission to use, you are not a hunter. You're a criminal. This law protects private property and wildlife because apparently people thought, if I see a deer, it's mine. Nope. Georgia says the land, the rules, and the permission all matter. So if you're holding a rifle and saying, "I didn't know this wasn't my land," Georgia responds, "You should have asked."